Hi everyone. I know it has been a minute. I appreciate those of you who have written to me and about me on the tribe page for IOD. Everything is okay. I just had to stop because, sometimes life catches up with you when you're not taking care of stuff. And I wasn't really taking care of stuff the way I should have been. And all of a sudden, I had too much stuff to take care of. So that's pretty much what happened. I was getting pretty discouraged when it caught up with me too, but I I pulled myself up from my own bootstraps or something. And yeah, now I'm here. My mama came over. I'm in our really, really old fifth wheel. I think it's a 87. It's pretty old. We're thinking about fixing it up to sell it. And I wondered if y'all would like to see maybe some videos on that. Let me know. I know it's really not my niche. But when has anything like rules ever kept me from doing something else? Lots of times. I'm a rule follower. Oh, I have to tell you what happened today. But I know a lot of you are only here to watch me craft, so I'm going to add my 2 stories to the end of this video. And for right now, enjoy the video. Love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Hey y'all, from Spindle Mountain Mercantile. I am Heather. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Project number 1. I kid you not, my mama bought like 10 boxes of these Jenga blocks, and I said, man, you must really like playing that game and stacking those blocks really tall. She said, nope, I just like to make things with them. So after she bought out Hobby Lobby and Dollar Tree, we found some on Amazon. Of course, they cost a little more than Dollar Tree, but what's a girl supposed to do? So just in case some old lady near you bought out Dollar Tree and Hobby Lobby, I will leave a link in the description to the Amazon Jenga blocks we found. I'll also leave a link for these little eye screws. They come in different sizes and colors. Anything you buy from Amazon by using my link to get there, they'll give me a small compensation but won't change your price. For this project, we're using 3 Jenga blocks. In the first block, you want to put an eye hook right in the center of the top of the block and then paint the remaining sides of the block red. Mama's using acrylic paint she brought for home for this part. Don't paint the bottom part that's opposite from where the eye hook is, because that's where you're gluing the block to another block. For the second block, which is Santa's face, you want to paint a flesh color. Now, if you're lucky enough to find the Tumbling Tower blocks at Dollar Tree, you can find the ones that half of them are stained and half are natural wood. For the stained ones, we used those for a little chocolate brown Santa face, and they were just perfect. If you want a bald Santa, you'll want to paint that flesh all the way around the front, the 2 sides, and the back. Don't paint it on the top and the bottom, though, because that's where you're gluing it together. I prefer a hairy Santa, because I'm married to one. So we added white and only painted the front, the flesh color. For the eyes, you simply paint 2 ovals, and then Mama dabbed a little dot of white right at the bottom and side, so it looks like Santa's looking over to the side. For the mustache, get a good little dollop of paint on your brush and you just kind of press it down, and then you wiggle it and lift at the same time as you pull away. And you can do that for eyebrows as well. Right here, Mama is painting where Santa's sideburns come down. We only paint the front of the block, the flesh color, and then we paint the white all the way around the back and the 2 sides, and then of course the little sideburn part. For the bottom block where his beard is, paint the entire thing white except for the top part where you glue it to the flesh. Now she's using some snow text that we found at Hobby Lobby, but I will leave a link for some also from Amazon. And this kind of goes on it's like chunky paint, and Mama likes to use a little palette knife for that. She puts it all the way around the bottom part of what is Santa's hat, and she also adds one little dollop of it right in front of the ring screw so that that's where the little ball of Santa's hat is. And on some of these she added eyebrows that she made just like she did the mustaches, but some don't have that. She also did a little red dot for his nose, but she found these little red pom-poms that she used on others for the nose. Those turned out pretty cute. I didn't think I'd like them, but I do. To assemble our square little Santa face, we are using Gorilla Brand wood glue. I found the best deal at Harbor Freight, but I will also leave a link to some I found on Amazon that's a pretty good deal, but you can also get it at any hardware store. You want to let this dry overnight before you toss them around, like if you're taking them to a bazaar to sell them, or if you're giving them away as a gift. You can use hot glue to put these together and just push them really tight, but over the years, you know how when you have your Christmas ornaments and they kind of all end up in a box? Yeah, they're going to fall apart. So I really recommend using wood glue for this to give it a real good permanent fix. On some of these, Mama didn't add the snow text until after she put them together, and I think that turned out really good. You can do either way, but here we go with our finished little square Santa faces. And after those pictures, I added in a couple more designs that Mama made with Jenga blocks. Project number 2. For this project, we're using about a dozen different ribbons that we cut for a different project, so they're about half as long as we need them for this one. That's why Mama is overlapping the ends when she puts them on her finger. If they're the length that you need them, you would just put them over your finger right in the middle and gather them all together. You want to measure your length and size of ribbons in comparison to what you're putting them in. Our napkin ring is pretty chunky, so we decided we would like the wide ribbons to be very prominent. I'm putting another ribbon through the gathered piece in the middle, and I'm tying that very tightly in a square knot, which is left over right, right over left, or right over left, left over right if you prefer. And then we're just pulling it through the napkin ring, and Mama will use some hot glue to affix it. Some of these ribbons were wired, so I wrapped them around a paintbrush handle, and then I kind of loosened that so it wouldn't be quite such a corkscrew effect. You can do that or just leave them hanging naturally. And with the smaller ribbons, I think that would be fun to make corkscrews and make them go up all the way around. Anyway, this is how our tassel turned out. Let us know in the comments what you think about it and if you might make some pretty Christmas tassels of your own. Project number 3. Lately, my Facebook feed has been full of people going thrift shopping and bringing home things that don't match their decor. So they paint the item black and then coat it with gold. I decided to try that with this trio of Santas from probably the 80s, but I painted mine with red spray paint. For the gold, I applied Rub and Buff with a small brush. I pressed hard with the brush in some areas, like the Santa's faces. In other places, like the rim around their hats, I used a small amount of pressure. That way the red will show through those little crevices. Make sure to turn your item upside down because at different angles you might have missed some spots. The candles were attached with little gold cups. Unfortunately, one fell on the floor and I didn't know it, and I stepped on it and smushed it. Even though my sweet husband straightened it out, you could still tell it was quite a bit different from the other cups. Instead of trying to work on it more to make them match, I decided to cover up all three. For that, I used a very small garland that we found at Dollar Tree. Since then, I've found a very long string of them on Amazon, and I'll leave a link for that in the description. I also found some that I'm going to buy that has berries, and I thought that was super cute. This is one of those mistakes that made my project better in the end. Tell me what you think. Project number 4. I was inspired to make this project when my sweet friend Sherry gifted me a precious little Christmas tree she made with ribbons and a styrofoam Christmas tree form. Sometimes Mama gets ahead of me when I'm filming, so this is a reenactment of the one we made from the back of a cereal box. We made one end tight and one end wide. Then we secured it with ram board tape and decided to cover the whole thing, so if there was a place where you could see underneath the ribbon, it would not look like the back of a cereal box. We used wired ribbon for this and figured out how big we wanted all of the ribbon. You're going to want to change this according to how tall your tree is or how small it is. Or if you want a bunch of smaller ribbon on a tall tree, that's fine too. Just make sure that they're all the same size. We dovetailed one end of the ribbon and left the other side straight, and just started by layering the first layer at the bottom so that half of it goes down below the bottom of the tree. We did each layer the same way, overlapping the layer below it. In a few areas, Mama added extra ribbon over the seams where some of that tape was showing. When she was finished, she went over all the edges and slightly bent the wired ribbon up. For the top, Mama took a jingle bell and put a small piece of twine through it and tied it like you would shoelaces. To that, she added greenery and attached the whole thing to the top of the tree with a glue gun. Put that bad boy on there. I think that is cute. For the base, we're using a sweet little goblet I got on a thrift trip. Mama's filling it up with snow we found at Dollar Tree, and she's also going to add a little bit of greenery to the bottom of the goblet. To attach it, we added glue around the bottom edge and placed it just inside the goblet. We made a second tree with green ribbon And we made everything the same except we added a little bit of twine to the top of the first one so you couldn't see where the ribbon didn't go quite all the way to the top. On the second one, we did the same thing with ribbon. And for the second tree, we put it outside of the little shot glass measuring cup we used for the base. I think that one worked a little bit better. It didn't go down quite so far, and that was good because we didn't want it to cover up that little measuring cup. Oh, always use one of these finger protectors. Trust me, it's worth the $1.25 they cost at Dollar Tree. I've seen several variations of this tree. If you have ever made any that are similar but different, let me know. Also, tell us what you think about ours. Here they are. Project number 5. What is that, Mama?
Banana jelly.
Where'd you
toast?
Where'd you get that? Who made that?
Sweet jelly.
Oh,
Good.
yeah. I can barely eat any other jelly now because this is so good. Did I tell you he made it with half the sugar? And half the sugar he used with date sugar. So they're...
What kind of bread is this?
This is sourdough from Aldi. For this project, we're using ornament blanks from Hobby Lobby, but I also found this great selection on Amazon. We'll also be using IOD's Christmas release from the book Santa's Hollow. I sell IOD in my booth in upstate South Carolina, but I don't do mail order yet. So my friend Heather over at Create Your Own Cozy created an affiliate link for me. I will leave a link in the description for that. If you buy anything from Heather by using my link to get there, she will give me a little thank you in the way of a compensation and won't raise your price. I'm totally aware that my voice just sounds horrific, like I'm in a can, or like, I don't know, like the machines have taken over your computer. I promise it's still just me, Heather. But my mic broke and I'm using a temporary one until I get my new one back. So sorry about that. All right, so to make sure that the IOD transfer fits this ornament, my mom traced around the ornament and it worked really good. This picture wasn't quite big enough to cover the whole thing. So when Mom was done applying it, she took the pieces that were left over and she just randomly put them in different places where the natural wood was still showing. To apply a transfer, you simply use the little stick, which we can't find, so we're using scissors. Yeah, you rub the entire transfer after you put it down where you want it on the wood. And then as you peel it back, you keep rubbing. And if any of it doesn't stick, just lay that plastic back down and rub again. It should work unless your surface is wet, or maybe you didn't let your paint dry all the way. Or if your surface is dirty, that happens too. Make sure you burnish your project when you're done. And that just means you rub it with the piece of plastic, or you can use your fingers and it gets all the little pieces definitely stuck to your object. So this is a Jenga block. Well, it's actually a tumbling tower block from Dollar Tree. And we're putting 2 little Christmas trees in it. And if you see those holes I drilled, they're closer to the front than the back. And we're just gluing it on to the ornament. Now, I took the little stands off the little bottle brush trees that I got at Dollar Tree. You can leave those on and just glue those to it, but I thought it looked better like this. For the next project, I used Debbie's DIY Cottage Color, and you have to make sure these paints are really well mixed for that. I either use my Submersible blender or I use this little milk frother. I'll leave a link for both of those in the description. This 3-in-1 paint includes the base, the paint, and the sealer. So you don't have to seal it before you put the transfers on. But if you use a clay-based paint, make sure to seal that project. So I'm just giving this one really good coat of garden sage. Is that right? I think it's garden sage. Oh, this is where I thought I didn't have any Jenga blocks, so I was just making my own. I cut a little piece of wood outside and sanded the edges and then painted it. And I left it in here even though I found a Jenga block. I thought Mama took them all home with her. I left it in here to show you that you can do that. You can make your own. That works too. It just takes longer, and I would rather buy them. So I am applying another transfer, but this picture is smaller. And since there's so many edges that just stop abruptly, I decided to take a paintbrush and go around the sides of this picture so that it would blend in with the green. I just dabbed it on with a flat brush, and I think that worked really good. I also added some gold rub and buff to the very top to make it look like it had one of those little caps, you know, that regular ornaments have. When I got all the way done, I thought I would like to see what it looked like with some snow, like Santa was, you know, going through the snow to find some Christmas trees. So I added snow to one of the Jenga blocks and I had it come down over the front, and it looks really good. That is the way I will probably do the rest of these. Now, my mom made a whole bunch of other ones, so in the next video, we'll show you those. But for today, look how adorable these turned out. And don't forget, I added stories to the very end of this video. So what did you all think? Which was your favorite? I love the ornaments that have the little Jumanji block, Jenga block that make them kind of three-dimensional. Those are so sweet, and you can do so many things with them. You can do transfers, decoupage, fabric. My mama did some with fabric, and those are awesome. I am so proud of her for coming up with that idea. I also love these little guys. These are really fast to make, and if you do them assembly line, they're even faster. We sell ours for $2 at the booth, and I think it's worth it. I think that, you know, it doesn't take that long to make a bunch of them. So that's a really good thing if you have like a traveling vendor booth that you take places. I would highly recommend making those to sell. Okay, is that everything, Hamlet? You know what, y'all? If I was this fraction of how sweet this dog thinks I am, I would be like the best person in the whole world. I wish I was just that good. But he's wrong. He's so sweet though. You're a good boy? Yeah. I love you too. He loves his mom. Aww. Okay. I will hopefully be back next week. We shall see. Until you see me again though, I hope you have a wonderful week. And as always, I hope you are blessed. Bye. What boy is this? That's a good boy too. Oh, good boy. So we went to La Unica the Mexican grocery store, and it is amazing. They have the best meat department. Oh, so yummy. All right, so at the end, they have these things in boxes at each register, and I picked it up, and it's like a big old marshmallow that is dunked in chocolate. And I thought, hey, this would be good to stir in some hot chocolate. And I showed my sweet husband, and he's like, yeah, okay. And so I put it back in the box, and we left, and we went to another store to get sourdough, and came home, and there was my stolen hot chocolate marshmallow dunker on a stick. I was mortified. I was so embarrassed because I showed it to him right in front of the cashier and left with it in my bag. I just was so embarrassed. I'm not a thief. So I thought about calling them, and my husband said, you know, they might not understand you because they don't speak really great English there. So I just went back, drove into town, took it back, told the girl, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she thinks that since I stole it, she's just going to give it to me, because she kept saying gratis, gratis, you know, it's free, it's free. And I'm like, I'm not going to let you give it to me for free when I stole it. So she points to the little cage area, and I walked over there, and she spoke pretty good English, and I told her I accidentally stole it, and she goes like, no, they're free. And I'm like, well, no, I put it in my bag, and I meant to put it back in the box. She goes, no, they're free, we're giving them away to our customers. I was like, what? I'm embarrassed though. She said, it's okay, they're free. I was like, well, can I get one for my husband? I thought, okay, I'll take it. But that was embarrassing. But I did feel good. And on the way home, I called my husband and told him I was in jail. And he laughed because he knew I wasn't in jail. I would have taken a longer time to be booked. And he said, you know what? This is one of the reasons I married you. You do the right thing. He is so good. He did the right thing by me for sure. I had fun making some stuff with my mama. Oh, until she fell out of the trailer. She was actually on the bottom step and she fell. And you know, when I was younger, one of my great aunts fell, and my mama said, you know, when somebody old falls, it's the beginning of the end. So the first time my mom fell, I was like, oh my gosh, call the ambulance. We got to get an MRI. And don't move. We're going to put a brace on your neck. She's like, I'm okay. And she has fallen like 47 times since then. And now I'm like, you need some help? Hey, I'm glad you didn't hit your head. You want me to call Kelly? She's like, I'm okay. I just hurt my knee. I'm like, you're going to be all right? Like, she's okay. Thank God. Thank God that my mom is okay. We have another trailer coming soon with some better steps. We rented it out to some friends, and they are done using it. So I'm going to have a nice place to craft pretty soon. And I will give you a little tour of that. Okay, now I'm done. All right.